right, we're live. Hopefully my internet connection is good and people will start appearing. Until then, let me tell you about the drink of the evening. I've got a glass of water, but I also have Jinro grapefruit soju. This is really tasty. Yesterday I had the Good Day Citron soju, very delicious as well. Good stuff. Hey, Andra. So I definitely recommend this flavor. The pomegranate version of this is disgusting. It tastes like cherry Robitussin. I don't recommend it to anybody who has taste buds. If you don't have taste buds, drink it down. It'll get you drunk. All right. So this is a chat. Hey, Mason. This is a chat about my movie date today. And I call it a movie date not because I'm dating the person I went with, but because it was kind of like, hey, do you want to meet up and go do something?
Are you
Hello,
sure
Twin
about
Twin.
that?
She's married. It's not like that. So my in real life shallow friend that I was telling you guys about, she and I are now following each other on Twitter, and I noticed that she had retweeted about Minho's movie, The Battle of the Jangsari, being in Denver. So I'm like, okay, Denver's not that far. I could do this. So I call her up and I'm like, hey, sis, you want to go to Denver with me? Like, I'll meet you in town and we'll drive to Denver, go see this movie, and come back. And she was totally down for it. So that is what we did today. And when I went to go pick her up, she's like, just so you know, this is going to be my second time seeing the movie. I drove up yesterday. In fact, I was on my way to the movie when you called me asking me to go to the movie. So that's really funny. But we went to the AMC at Arapahoe Crossing in Aurora, Colorado, which I don't want to say for sure, but I think that was the movie theater where the Colorado shooting was.
I think it might have been.
I don't know. Stephanie's going to do my research for me. But yeah, I was kind of like, scary. But anyway, we got up there and we saw the 11:30 showing, and I tweeted my ticket for the movie. So let's talk a little bit about the movie, and then you guys have homework on your own to do where you can go and find out more about the Battle of Jangsari. But the movie takes place during the Korean War. Now, it's for people who are from America. It's easy for me to say this took place during the Korean War because this was the Korean War that Americans got involved in.
No, it's the Century 16 movie.
Oh, good, because I don't like ghosts.
You think there'd be ghosts in
Why
there?
are you laughing? People got killed.
Well, I'm not. Well,
You are
I'm
a dark mistress.
No, I said, do you?
You
what?
are a dark-spirited girl.
I was laughing because you think ghosts are real.
Well, I don't want it, I don't want it. Anyway, back to the lecture at hand. So for Americans, when we say the Korean War, it means something very specific. It means the American intervention in Korea after World War II when Russia was trying to take over the Korean Peninsula and they had already managed to take over most of North Korea. And they were moving down almost to the tip of the peninsula. So the Americans' first kind of contact in Korea was in Incheon, and then they went further inland. But there was a battleship carrying 772 student soldiers, basically kids in high school, maybe college age, were on this ship, and they were going to the other side of the Korean peninsula. So Incheon, for those of you who don't know, if Korea is shaped like my hand, let's say, and this is the bottom of Korea, Incheon would be over here. Well, yeah, Incheon would be over here, I guess, and Jangsari would be over here. So I guess the point of the invasion was they were going to have a battalion go to Jangsari to make it seem like that was going to be the point that the Americans were going to come onto Korean shores. Kind of a diversionary tactic, if you will. But because the South Korean army was so debilitated by this war and just a lingering series of wars, because Korea had been at war with Japan, had been at war with China, had been at war with a lot of different factions before the American intervention into Korea. So for them, they had very depleted soldiers and resources. And they kind of knew this Jangsari thing. It might be a bit of a distraction, but at the end of the day, this is pretty much a suicide mission. So their captain parks the boat on the shore, and immediately they start taking fire. And you know, the fact that they were able to hold on to Jiang Sari as long as they did is stunning because the odds were completely against them. These are untrained soldiers. Most of their ammunition, weapons, rations were lost just trying to get to the shore. Once they got to the shore, they had to climb uphill to be able to defeat the soldiers that were shooting down at them. And then fresh reinforcements kept coming from the north to the shore. And like for every one man they had, there might have been 15 men that they were fighting on the North Korean side. So it was basically, it was not going to have a happy ending. And if you look up the Battle of Jiang Sari, this is not me spoiling the movie for you, but let's just say only one or two of the main characters make it out alive, and unfortunately my bias was not one of them.
Oh.
But I thought that the movie was really good in portraying some of the complexities of a war like the Korean War when it came to the different people that were involved in it, kind of the aloofness of the Americans were like a lot of the decisions when it came to the American forces of being able to back up the Korean soldiers at Jiang City were taken from a stance of, will this compromise our soldiers? Do we have the time? Do we have the resources? Do we really want to get involved with this? Let the Koreans take care of the Koreans? Like those kind of things. And when it came to the Korean government, they looked at these student soldiers not as being men who they had an obligation to give the best chance when it came to fighting, but more of expendable resources in this war. And so there were a lot of things going on that caused this thing to go sideways real quick. But what they showed, and they did it in very smart ways, they showed how it wasn't so black and white, the division between North Korea and South Korea. Especially through Minho's character. Minho's character, for me, was kind of the emotional heart of the movie. Because Minho's character is a boy who went to school in the North. And then communists came and took his father's flour mill, and his family moved south when he was young. Okay, so Mason says, to be honest, I wasn't taught much about the Korean War in school, although I did watch MASH, but it was a nice refresher just now. Okay, cool. My grandfather actually served in the Korean War when he was in the military. And the Korean War was a leg in an extension of what became the Cold War between America and Russia. Like, America would have never gotten involved. Hey, JoJo World. America would have never gotten involved in the Korean War if it wasn't us trying to have a victory against communism. Otherwise, we probably would have never had anything to do with the Korean War. And China was just so large that we were not prepared to enter into China, but Korea was one of those places where we said, you know what? This is a stronghold we're willing to protect. So, back to the story at hand. Minho's character is Choi Sung-pil. Sorry, I was saying this name weird. Choi Sung-pil. So, same last name that Minho currently has, but first name Sung-pil. And Sung-pil's family escapes to the south because his father's mill has been taken over. The name of the movie is The Battle of Jiang Sari. It's Minho's movie. And it's playing in limited theaters around America. So, Sung-pil, his family leaves to go to the south, and he volunteers to go to the war, and nobody really knows much about him, where he came from, why he's so determined. Well, as they're doing their initial invasion of the beach, he ends up shooting and killing a really young kid. Like, I would say maybe a 14, 15-year-old kid. And when he shoots him, at first, he doesn't have time to stop and think about anything. He's got to keep going because he's, it's either kill or be killed at this point. But as they're going back to tend to the dead bodies, the boy that he shot didn't die immediately. He kind of like strangles on his own blood. His last words are mama. I mean, it's just really, really sad. But there was a letter next to the boy's hand. And in the letter, the boy says, Mom, we went to school for a special assembly, and when we got to school, they made us put on these North Korean uniforms and start fighting. And he says, I'm wearing my school uniform under my North Korean uniform in the hopes that if we ever have a chance to stop shooting and I get captured, I can show them that I'm one of them and that I didn't want to do this. Which is heartbreaking because that truth is never found out until after he's dead. And it also shows, like, this story and another story that happens with Sung Pil shows that the lines between North Koreans and South Koreans wasn't so definitive. You know, for a lot of people who aren't familiar with the demilitarized zone in Korea, there is an area between North Korea and South Korea called the demilitarized zone, and it is heavily fortified by troops on both sides.
Oh yeah, they'll shoot you on sight.
Oh yeah, there's no, it's you are going to be killed. There was a story, I think it was last year or maybe the year before, of a North Korean soldier who defected to South Korea that actually ran through the demilitarized zone. I think he caught like 5 or 6 bullets, and when they tested him, he had like all kinds of diseases and stuff. Like, the guy had went through hell, but somehow or another he managed to live to make it to the other side. But it's not a game, it's not a joke. And this demilitarized zone is what keeps North Korea and South Korea separated. And every once in a while they'll have reunification events, but it's really strongly placed that, you know, these two sides can't interact. And so this movie shows that, yes, there is this wall of defenses between the two, but at the same time, these are one people. You know, the Hangul are the one people. They're one people. So that was an example of that. Later on in the story, Minho and a group of soldiers are sent out to try to find food from the village nearby. And they're still in their North Korean uniforms. That way the villagers would be more receptive to getting them money or giving them food because they're in the north. Well, they come up to a camp where someone is getting ready to make dog soup. And I know I felt a little iffy about saying that out loud, and I felt a little icky about watching it only because people always talk about Asian people eating dogs. But you have to understand, these people were not eating dogs because they just love the taste of dog meat. These people were eating dogs because there was nothing left to eat. If you wanted meat, all the chickens had been killed, all the goats had been killed, all the cows had been killed. There were no hogs left. There was nothing but dogs at this point. You know, everything was gone. If you could find a snake, at one point somebody in the movie tries to find a snake to eat. That is how desperate things got. So anyway, they come to this small cabin where someone is cooking or getting ready to make dog soup. And Minho goes forward because he actually grew up in the north for a little while, so he's able to affect a northern accent. Well, when he comes up on the soldiers in his northern uniform with his northern accent, he recognizes one of the soldiers as his cousin. And his cousin's like, "Hey, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm seeing you. Where have you been? I thought your family went south. You came back north. I'm just so happy to see you." And you can see there's like genuine love and stuff there. But Minho is kind of stuttering when it comes time to tell him what happened to the family, how they ended up back in the north. And the people that Minho is with, they kind of come out of the shadows and they take everybody as hostage. Well, Minho is like, let's just tie them up here in the woods and leave them because we don't have enough food to support prisoners. And one of the other soldiers in Minho's battalion is like, "Hey, you're a spy, you're a traitor, you only wanted to volunteer because you wanted to come back to the north and you're going to betray us all." Long story short, in the midst of their back and forth, a firefight ensues and Minho's cousin is killed. And that's when Minho tells the story of what really happened with his family going south. That his family headed south, but while he went to go fetch water for his family while they were on their way, the family was captured and everyone in Minho's family died. And the only reason why he didn't die is because he was going to fetch water. So he actually joined the army in the south to avenge his family that was killed by the communist soldiers when they were trying to escape to the south. And as he explains that, he basically says, like, this cousin, this is all the family I have left. I don't have any family, and you just killed the last of my family. So it makes the other people in the battalion kind of trust his motivation, but at the same time, it's very obvious that, like, the lines are blurred because people have family on the other side. You know, Minho left an uncle and a cousin and who knows what other relations because things got so untenable. And people didn't leave the North because they were traitors or because they're awful people. People don't leave the South because they're awful people. There was a circumstance that just could not be, how do you say this? There was a circumstance that just couldn't be avoided. And so people ended up where they ended up. But again, they're still one people and those bloodlines are still there. And it's very hard to be a soldier and to think as a soldier does based on the uniform when behind that uniform is somebody much closer to you than you actually could think of. So those are some of the emotional things that I appreciated about the movie. There was another element of the movie. By the way, I am totally spoiling this movie for y'all, so I'm sorry. I'm spoiling everything. There was another element of the movie I thought was really interesting. There was a girl dressed as a boy being a soldier. And before you roll your eyes and be like, oh my gosh, that old tired trope, it wasn't like that. This girl cut her hair and she doesn't look like, the I'm trying to be a sexy boy type thing. Like she looks like a young boy. Like she looks like a 13, 14-year-old boy. But she was forced to join the military. So this is what happened. This girl is one half of a set of twins. She has a twin brother. Her dad tells her, we need your brother to stay here because we need your brother to work and take care of the family and make money and honor the ancestors, whereas you're a girl and you're an extra mouth to feed. And so since you and your brother have the same birthday, it won't be suspicious for you to cut off all your hair and join the military in his place. So this girl is in the military, but she's scared and she's dirty and she doesn't talk to anybody because she doesn't want to get found out and possibly be killed. But she's not like this. When she gets hurt the way every soldier got hurt. Like she had a piece of shrapnel enter into her shoulder from an explosion. She didn't get hurt because she was just like, oh, I don't know what to do. She's actually a very competent soldier. And at the end of the movie, she ends up passing away because she's hanging on by her wounded arm where the shrapnel was, and she's just too weak to hold on any further, and she falls into the ocean trying to climb aboard a battleship. But it was also interesting to see that too, because a lot of times when we think about women in battlefields, we assume that every woman that has ever entered a battlefield did so because of some innate sense of bravery or courage that made her different than other women around her, and that, she's on the battlefield because she's got something that other women don't. She's able to be brave like a man. And this is an example of a woman that she was at the battlefield because she had no choice, and sometimes that happens. It just is what it is. So it was a very interesting movie. A lot of character motivations were put out there. I will say probably the most negative thing I have to say about the movie, and I hate saying it because it's going to seem like I'm being extra biased. Megan Fox.
Megan Fox was in the movie?
Yes, Megan Fox was in the movie, and so was the guy from the show that you like to watch.
What show?
The show with the military. It's not Jag. It's the other one with Mark Harmon and then the goth girl.
What?
It's a television show that comes on in the evenings. Your grandma likes it. There's a goth girl who works in the laboratory.
NCIS?
Yes, NCIS. The guy that used to be on NCIS, the kind of smarmy, handsomey one, he was in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, the one that was like too cool for school and was always hitting on his coworker. That guy. Anyway, look up the credits for the movie and you'll see who's there. They hired American.
You said Mark Hammond?
Not Mark Harmon is the lead of that show, but it was a different guy from NCIS who was in the show. Hey, Tony.
Well, I don't know who that was.
Yeah. So anyway, the American actors they hired real American actors to portray Americans for this movie, and I think that was a really smart move. Rather than trying to find like French people.
What's the movie
Michael
called?
Weatherly. That is the name of the guy. Thank you, Tony. So in the movie, they had Americans play Americans, and they did a really good job of picking Americans who, can actually talk their way through a sentence. And I've watched tons of K-dramas where Korean people interact with Americans who literally sound like they don't know how to read. And so their lines are very stiff, like, yeah, we're going into the club. Are you coming soon? All right, we'll see you when we get into our seat. It's just like, what is that affectation? Like, you don't sound excited at all. But anyway, I digress. So the guy, Michael Weatherly, he did a decent job. There was an interpreter of some sort that did a decent job. Most of the Americans did okay. Megan Fox, no kidding, from here to here has no emotion. So she would be talking to somebody about the soldiers at Jangsari, and we're supposed to assume that she really cares about the Korean people, and she's very concerned about these young boys who are going into a battle where they're ill prepared. So this is her. I just don't understand how anyone could be so callous as to leave a bunch of young boys out there with no support. Don't you care anything about your soldiers? In all of my years as a reporter, I've never seen anybody just have no concern at all for the people who are out there giving their lives to this. I can't believe you won't publish my article. Don't you realize this is illegal? The people have to know what's going on out there. I'm going to make it my life's mission so that everyone understands the atrocities that went on here so that these poor boys didn't die in vain.
She plays a good robot.
She's not supposed to be a robot. She's supposed to be a people. She's supposed to be a person. Like, no emotion. Like, she might raise her voice. This is uncalled for. How could you do this? Don't you realize they're going to die if you don't send reinforcements? From here to here, nothing. Not a thing. And, I mean, I don't want to say it's because she's Botoxed up or anything. I'm not even going to go like that. But it was just like, it was painful. Not only that, but like the way she pronounces the Korean words. I get it. This was a paycheck job. No problem. I understand that chick. But Jangsari, this is the way she pronounced it. Jangsari. Those boys out in Jangsari are waiting for backup. The Incheon campaign was a success. Now we need to save those boys in Jangsari before something bad happens to them.
Well, I mean, she's not supposed to say it like a native.
She's stationed in Korea. You know, she's not like us where we've been exposed to so much K-dramas and everything else and everything's been westernized.
Well, I mean, did she know Korean in the movie?
No, she never speaks a lick of Korean in the movie.
So I
She's
guess
an
that's
interpreter.
why she
But like,
doesn't.
yeah, Jangsari. And then like, there was another thing. I think she said Myeongdong at some point, but she's like, Myeongdong.
They're just out here being Americans. You can't
turns
blame
out-
them for being out here
It
being
turns out that
Americans.
General Yi was stationed with that battalion because he was really bad when he was working at the Battle of Busan.
Busan?
It's not...
You mean Busan?
I'm just saying, like, the pronunciations were wild. So I'm sitting with friend Stephanie, and I'm just like, did they even try to learn how to pronounce the Korean? Like, I wouldn't say the rest of the American actors were much better.
I mean,
but
I get Incheon, but like, Busan?
it was terrible. It was terrible.
Busan?
And right now, Megan Fox, well, maybe not currently, but at least a couple of weeks ago, Megan Fox was in Korea to, like, promote this movie.
Oh, gosh.
And I'm just like, Lord, please let somebody be working with her to help her pronounce some of these words because I can't. I hope she's not on television mispronouncing everything. I can imagine her on TV like, so I was working with a really talented actor named Minho, and her saying, I was working with a really talented actor called Minna, and like, the girl actor? No, okay. Because like, she it was a paycheck job.
So apparently Mom has some unspoken beef with Megan Fox. And she's taking it out more in this live.
No.
Because she's salty about something.
No. I actually like Megan Fox, and I'll tell you why. I like Megan Fox because she has a little boy who likes to wear dresses. And she spends a lot of time on the internet defending her children's ability to express themselves in whatever way they want to. Even though people are like, why don't you cut that boy's hair? Why do you let him wear princess dresses? And she's like, you know what?
He's a kid.
This is the kid. This is what he wants. He's not hurting anybody. Why don't y'all shut the fuck up? So I actually really dig Megan Fox as a person. I just think that she did not put any emotion behind this role, and it was very difficult to watch. So that's pretty much my rundown. Oh, and the cinematography of the movie was actually really good. You know, yeah, kid likes fashion, so what? You know, leave it alone. You know, if I was a little boy and I had to look at my clothes compared to like some of the girl clothes, I probably want to wear girl clothes too. Only because like boy clothes tend to all be green, blue, orange, tan, red,
Green.
I already said green. You know, like whatever they consider manly colors. Girls' clothes run the gamut. Girls can wear the entire rainbow's worth of clothes.
Yeah.
Not only that, but girls' clothes have fucking glitter and sequins, and they have funny tulle, and they have satin. Yeah, it's all the things. So if I was a little boy and I'm like, okay, I can either wear dinosaurs and trucks and spaceships all the time, or I can wear all the things. I'd like to wear all the things, please. I like pink. I would like to wear a purple tutu. It's floofy. So I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty much done with the movie talk, but if you notice the description of this video, in the description of this video, I put a link to a fan fiction. The fan fiction I put a link to is a fan fiction called Not All's Fair in Love and War. So I was
Was that the one you cried to?
Yes.
Ahaha! This is the one my mom read like multiple times, and she's like, Stephanie, I read it again, and I couldn't help from crying. It's so good because all the members of Shiny are in this one, and it's just so sad and it's so tragic, but I can't stop reading. Oh, Stephanie, what to do?
Why would you shame me like this? I get bullied in my own home. I'm never safe. I'm never safe. So I'm gonna give you guys. That's what you get. The devil don't like you laughing at me. You've been tripped up. So anyway, the fanfic I put in the comment section, or the description down below, is a fanfiction that I read many, many years ago, like before I ever even touched a YouTube. It's that old. But it is by far my favorite fanfiction of all time. I thought about dedicating a Saturday night fanfiction reading to it because it's got all of the elements that make it an amazing story. But in particular, I really wanted to make sure that I added it to the description box for this video here, because as I was watching the movie, I'm like, oh my gosh, I read a fan fiction years and years and years and years ago where Minho plays an American soldier during the Korean War, and it's a Min-Ki fanfic, so him and Ki end up falling in love or whatever. But it deals with a lot of the same things. It deals with espionage. It deals with, you know, taking rations from the locals when the locals really don't have anything. It deals with kind of culture clashes and, you know, people that have been forced to take on roles in a war that they don't want to, but they have to because of some kind of emotional blackmail. It's an amazing story, and the writer who wrote it is somebody that was a friend of mine. We haven't spoken in quite a while, but she's busy. She kind of got out of fan fiction writing, so I get it. But she's an amazing, amazing author. Her Asian fanfic name is Lilac, I think is how you pronounce it. It's Lilliac. Lilac, I guess. But anyway, she's an amazing writer. She's written a lot of my favorite fan fictions from a while back. She wrote another one that she actually wrote for me. When you go to the description of the fanfic, it actually has my name in as one of the people that it was inspired by. She wrote a fan fiction about Jonghyun and Onu, and it's based on the tale of the phoenix. It's very complicated. It's hard for me to explain, but anyway, she wrote it as a gift to me, and it is an amazing fan fiction, really really good. But this one in particular, she spent a lot of time researching it before she wrote it, and it is a literal work of art. It is beautiful. It is novel length. I'm not gonna lie, it's not a quick read at all, but it was written over the course of several weeks, so I mean, it is to be expected. But it is a beautiful fan fiction. It has a major character death. That is the one spoiler I will give you. There is a main character, a member of SHINee, who dies. And I know that some people cannot read story. Hey, I know a lot of people can't read stories where there's a major character death. I absolutely get it, and I wouldn't expect you to read this story if you're sensitive to that. But if you can get over it, and you're willing to put in the time, it's a slow burn. It's a fruitful slow burn, but it's a slow burn. But I think if you can get through it, you'll be very happy that you did. And this movie definitely puts me in the mind of this particular fanfic in the best way possible. But yeah, this is movie chat, and I guess this kind of goes into. Have you heard he has his album? My fave has to be Dom featuring Cold. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. I don't know if you can tell, but I've been out and about. I spent my weekend running practically, so I haven't had a chance to listen to it. I listened to the previews of her songs. Sounds really good. I'm a little disappointed that I have not been able to locate a physical copy of this album. So I'm assuming that they're not selling a physical copy. This is all digital because all of my favorite haunts to buy CDs, no one's got it. No one at all. So, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not looking in the right places, but I've been searching all of the places that I normally look at. I went to Choice Music, Music Plaza, Catch Up CD. I even went to K-Town for You and kpoptown.com. I even went to eBay. Could not find anything. So I'm assuming there's not a physical, which is really a shame because she did a physical release for the We Don't Talk single. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on. But I'm glad that people are liking her music. October has been such a busy month for music, and there's been so much going on with everything else that it's easy for artists like Hayes to get lost in the sauce and people not really check for her. But
Get lost in the sauce.
But I think that she's definitely worthwhile, and she's got the kind of music that even if it doesn't hit right now, it'll be something you'll be listening to throughout the year. So it's okay if you don't get into it right when it's released because you're gonna get into it because you just can't help it because the music is so good.
It's okay if you think it's terrible at first, but it'll become more and more or less terrible as you listen.
It's not ever terrible. You're being mean. I mean, maybe less in terms of infamous. Oh yeah, she does well in Korea, but like even this month is really tough for her because we have Akbang Musician who just did a release, and that's been doing super well on the charts. And I don't know that she can compete with them head on. And then you've got IU coming soon. You got Taeyeon coming soon. Like this is one of those months where it's really easy for what would otherwise be a killer track to be lost in all of the things that are happening this month because there's just so much. So that's why I say, it might come up and then shoot right back down because something else happens that people are more interested in. And if that happens, it's fine because we'll be talking about it later. Speaking of Taeyeon, she's got a full album coming out. I've talked with Mason about this, whether or not he thinks there's going to be a repackage. He says he's not sure, but he doesn't think there will be. I don't want to buy it unless I find out whether or not there's going to be a repackage because I didn't buy My Voice until I had a repackage, but also because the song that I liked on My Voice that made me decide to buy the album was Something New. And I'm curious to see what sound Taeyeon decides to do this time around. Because every release is something different. Like, I think about her first release, I did not like I didn't like the album. I didn't like the song. It just wasn't my style. It was very mainstream popish. And then Well, I bought the My Voice album, but that's what made me decide that I wanted to go ahead and pay for the repack, if you know what I mean. Um, but then she came out with My, and My had the song with Dean that I really, really liked, and then she had Why, the song, the single that I really, really enjoyed, and I thought that album was good. Then I was like, I'm not really feeling Taeyeon right now. I don't know if I'm gonna buy this album. Something New was cool, but I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna buy the album. Then she came out with a repack, and I'm like, I'll do your repack. I'll do your repack. I got it on sale, used on Amazon, and I'm like, wow, this is a much better album than I anticipated. I'm starting to spurt because of the stuff is delicious, by the way. Stephanie, you want some?
Yes, but also you're on YouTube.
I am on YouTube. I'm not allowing you to get drunk. I'm allowing you to taste this to see what you think about the flavor. And then you're going to give it back to me. And because I'm your parent, I'm allowed to do that. Here you go.
Okay, so YouTube can't do anything to you?
No, they're not going to do nothing to me. What are they going to do to me? Nothing. Okay, David, Something New might not be on your copy of My Voice, but it was on my copy because I played it and I remember listening to it. So, there you go. Okay, hurry up and take a taste and give it back. Give it back. It's on mine. I'm sorry. It is. Give it back to me. Give it to me.
I had to savor the flavor first.
You don't savor shit.
Wow, look at Mom just gulp down that hot liquid.
No, I know what song I'm thinking of because na 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 something new. Na 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 na. I know the song. I'm not crazy. I know the song. Anyway, back to the conversation at hand. I haven't bought her Christmas albums, none of that shit, because none of it appeals to me. It's not for me. I don't want it. I haven't bought it. And I'm waiting to see whether or not this new release is something that I actually want, because I'm not Girls' Generation biased. Therefore, I'm not Taeyeon biased, if you understand that. Like, I think a lot of people who are Girls' Generation biased automatically buy Taeyeon stuff because she is such a large part of what makes Girls' Generation Girls' Generation. But I've never been a stan for Girls' Generation. I take them as they come. And so I don't have this compulsion to buy things sight unseen. It really has to prove to me that it's worth buying. And that is the reason why I didn't buy the I album. But I'm hoping that it'll be something good. I'm hoping that it'll be something worth listening to. I'm hoping that it'll be growth for her. I'm hoping it'll be in a style that I like. I mean, because it could be something that's growth for her, something new for her, but if it's not a style I like, then it's not going to happen for me. You know what I'm saying? But I wish the best for her. IU, I pretty much know I'm going to buy it. Like, at this point, why am I even lying to you guys and saying I'm not going to buy it? Because I'm going to buy it. Because I've bought everything that IU has released since modern times. Like, yeah. No, I take that back. That's not true. Because I didn't buy her cover albums. She did 2 albums that were cover albums. They were like Spring something or other. Remind me what they're called. I've drunk a lot of this, so now I don't remember what they're called.
I drink till I'm drunk.
And I feel very warm.
Smoke till I'm high. Castle on the hill. Wake up in the sky. You can tell me I fly.
I hope you know that people can hear you. That's all I have to say about that. Is I hope you know people can hear you.
But they can't see me.
No, but they can pretty much assume what's going on the other side of the camera. This shit is delicious. It tastes great. It tastes like a flat soda. But anywho's, yeah, I'm waiting to see what actually is on. Did I listen to the AB6? Yes, I did. Thank you for asking. I did listen to the AB6 comeback. I'm still not sure how to pronounce her name. Is it AB6 or AB6? Doesn't really matter to me. Not my concern. I did listen to the album. I thought the album was okay. I'm not exactly sure if I would buy that album, but I thought it was enjoyable enough. I think the thing that bothers me about the album, which it was a niggling thought in the back of my head, it didn't impact my listening experience, is the album is super trendy. And because the album is super trendy, it wasn't my favorite thing to listen to because I don't feel like it's something I would enjoy listening to in a year from now. So you guys, if you haven't already listened to it, listen to the AB6 album and ask yourselves, is this an album that I will listen to a year from now? If it's not an album you listen to for a year from now, don't buy it. I am starting to get drunk because I am slurring my words. I'm so sorry. Oh, while we're talking about things having to do with 101, let me show you some things that came in the mail. No, I can't reach it because I'm too drunk. Come on. Oh, why does it keep getting further away from me? Come on. Ah! Sorry about that, y'all. I'm starting to get fuzzy-headed because I drank that very quickly. So, things I got in the mail recently. I got this, which is the Six album. I got this off of M-Wave. It is a signed copy. Six is a group that I didn't anticipate wanting to listen to anything about, but I really liked their title track, and I can't even remember what the title track is now. That's due to drinking, though, honestly. But I can't even remember what the title track is, but I remember thinking, this is a really cool title track. I'm interested in the group, and I think, if I remember correctly, there are some ex-YG trainees in this group, and that was my main motivation for getting this, is I'm like, listen, if you escape the dungeon, I want to finance your escape mode. Like, however it took for you to be able to get the hell out the dungeon and not have YG trap you, I want to pay for you to make it to the Underground Railroad. So that's why I bought this, and I think it's a good mini album because it is a mini album. There's only 5 songs here. There's What You Wanted, Movie Star, Like It That Way, Imagine, and The One. I believe Movie Star was the title track. Correct me if I'm wrong. I like this one though. I also bought another rookie group when I bought my M-Wave stuff. I bought this, which is a signed album from ITZY. So let me complain a little bit about this because I deserve to complain about this because I paid for it with actual cash money. I'm going to complain about ITZY because this album came to me wrapped in shrink wrap. Can you tell? Can you tell that it's in shrink wrap? Like, I haven't even opened this fucking album yet. I don't know whose signature this is. I'm assuming it's Chaeryeong, but I'm probably wrong. Anyway, I'm complaining because I ordered this album months ago. I ordered this album when it came out basically from M-Wave. And in the past, when I've gotten anything from JYP where there were pre-order goodies, I've always gotten the pre-order goodies. This album came in the box, no pre-order goodies. The fuck? I mean, because this was not a cheap album. This was like close to $30. So I feel like I'm entitled to whatever fucking pre-order gifts come with this album. There shouldn't be any problems. Why? Also, why is this shrink wrapped? You know, if you shrink wrap an autographed album, I'm not going to open it. Why did this happen?
Well, why don't you open it for it?
So, I was disappointed. So let's see. Mason says, would you like one of mine? Both my copies came with it, so I have one to spare. I'll take one of yours, Mason. Restless here says, oh, really? I don't think I've ever gotten pre-order things from M-Wave sales. I usually always get second press. My last Day 6 albums were shrink wrapped too. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Emily, for saying that. What is the deal with shrink wrapping these signed albums? What is that about? You know I'm not going to ever open this fucking thing because you shrink wrapped it.
What's wrong with shrink wrap?
Because if I open it and it's a shrink wrap CD, I'm going to ruin it.
How?
Don't you understand?
No.
It makes the oxygen get to the ink and then it's ruined.
I don't know what you mean.
It's because I'm drinking and you don't understand. I'm just saying. Like,
Mom's too drunk to know what's going on.
I'm not drunk. I'm buzzed. There's a difference. Anyway.
See the way she's talking right
Okay,
now?
quick poll. For those of you who are watching my live, if you receive an album that's fucking shrink wrapped and has an autograph on it, how many of you are going to open the album even though you know it's fucking shrink wrapped? Start leaving responses. I don't care who you are. Just like, will you open the shrink wrap album? Yes or no? Okay. So Emily opened hers. Mason says it depends on if he has a copy or not. Let's see who else responds. Don't be a coward. Usually I'll buy a clean copy to take the CD and... Okay. Alondra says yes. Janini says yes. The bottle says empty. Okay. Lexbridge says I would. Megar says I opened my Etsy one. LOL. Okay, fine. Since all y'all are fucking heathens, I'm going to go ahead and get in the fray with y'all. And I'm going to open this bitch. I don't even know what fucking photo card came with this because I've never opened it. And I'm still not sure whose signature this is. Do y'all know whose signature this is? Whose signature is this?
What is this you do to me?
Whose signature is this? Leave it in the comments section. I have no idea whose fucking signature this is. Alright, it says open it. Open it. Open. It's like Mervin's. I think it's Laya. There's a C on there. How do you spell Laya with a C? I'm not crazy. Look, it's a C. That's a C, isn't it? Am I wrong?
It might be a T. Because the thing might be part of a big T.
Okay, where's the T in the name Laya?
Oh. Well,
Just
maybe
saying.
the C is part of a dotted I.
Ooh. I don't think it's a part of... I don't think so. I don't know. I'm drinking. Don't ask me complicated questions. Okay, so this is the inside of the album. This is Laya right here. That it says so because it says it right there. That's how I know. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. I'm not gonna pretend like I know him that well. Woo! It comes with 2 photo cards here. So we have these 2 photo cards. Here's these 2 photo cards. I don't know whose photo cards this is because I'm drinking.
Ooh, can I see?
I've been drinking.
Can I see?
I've been drinking. I don't know whose photo cards these are.
Can I see?
Are your hands clean?
Yes.
Okay, you can see.
My hands are clean. Ooh,
So
this
are
person has pink hair.
Are you gonna look up and see who it is?
I am.
I mean, I feel like I know who it is. I just don't know their name.
Wait, hold on. I put C instead of Itsy.
I'm looking at the signatures for them because the inside the photo book there's signatures.
Let me go and keep
So I'm looking to
on
see
trying.
whose signature looks like this.
I don't know.
Okay, that's not the signature that I have.
I think the one with the pink hair is Ryujin.
Is this the signature I have?
And
No,
the one with
because there's no eyeballs.
the one with the blonde hair is Yuna.
You care more than I do. Okay, it's
Or is
definitely
it-
not her.
Wait,
It's not her either. Okay, it's not Laya. It can't be Laya's signature. According to the book, this is Laya's signature. That doesn't look like this at all. No.
So you got Yuna and
No.
Hyunjin.
Wait, maybe. What? No. Wait. No. Wait a minute. Is there a... Oh! Wait a minute. No. Fuck, whose signature is this?
Let me see.
Okay. I want to believe that it is this signature. this signature. Doesn't that look like this? Yeah?
A little bit, I guess.
I don't know. You're asking me complicated questions on my sobriety test. I can't answer complicated questions when under the influence. Is it JYP's signature? I don't know. Stephanie, give me back the photo cards.
They're right there.
You didn't give them back to me, though. Hand them to me. Thank you. So the photo cards are for Ryujin and Yuna. Okay, so that's his photo card. Man, that soju hits hard when you let it, like all of a sudden. But yeah, I don't know whose fucking signature this is. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comment section. But I have no fucking clue whose signature this is, and my hand-eye coordination is diminishing the more I drink. Now am I really trying to get this back in the plastic knowing how impaired I am? Sure, why not? That'll help preserve the signature. You're doing good things, Samantha. You're doing good things. It's not working. It's not working. I think I'm going to have to do this when I'm not drinking. Oh, no one asked, but I feel like since we're on the topic, I should tell you whose photo cards I got in this album. Do you guys not want to know whose photo cards I got? Maybe you don't. Maybe you guys don't care about 6, and that's the reason why you don't give a damn whose photo cards I got. And I get you. I get you completely, because I don't know any of the members of this group. I liked the song Movie Star, and I bought the album. Like, it literally was that simple of a decision. So I can't say that I know whose photo cards I got either, because I don't care. But it came with multiple photo cards. So I'm just going to show you who I got. I got this photo card right here, which has this in the back. Isn't that super cute? This little monster in the back. I got this photo card right here, which just has a regular ass signature in the back. Nothing special, nothing to write home about. And then I got this signature right here, or this card right here, with this signature back here that has a little crown on it. Cute, 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 cute. Now, because I don't know any of the members of this particular group, I really thought that these two cards were the same person. I now realize that that's not the case. But I'm just saying, initially on first look, before I looked at the back, I thought it was the same person. So, yeah, good for them. They're two different individuals. Glad to have individuality. And then it comes with like this, which is like a postcard of some sort with maybe a message on the back. And it comes with like a little mini photo card. Okay. So Emily says that she thinks it's Lia's. Somebody else says they think it's Yeji's. Does it even fucking matter at this point? I don't know. You know, the fact is it's signed. And I will throw it in with my other signed JYP releases. I have... What sign do I have? I only have... I used to have a signed Miss A album, but I sold it because I didn't care for the actual album itself. It was the Miss A Colors album. I did not like Miss A's Colors album. I stand by that opinion still to this day. I don't think I was wrong. It hasn't aged well. But I also have a signed Twice album from when Twice first debuted. Actually, it was really funny when I think about it. Like, me buying M-Wave albums right now is very hilarious to me because I had quit buying M-Wave albums a long time ago. So much so that I had to like reestablish my password in order to even be able to log into M-Wave because it had been so long. But back when I used to buy M-Wave albums on the regular, I bought 3 different groups M-Wave albums at the same time. Do you want to know which groups I bought? Let me tell you. No, 3, 4 M-Wave groups. Oh my gosh, I forgot about that time and place. So several years ago, back when I was a regular user of M-Wave, I bought CLC's first album from M-Wave. I bought Sunamu's first album from M-Wave. I bought Twice's first album from M-Wave. And I bought G-Friend's first album from M-Wave. Now, in the years since then, I've sold Senamu's debut album, which I have no regrets on that shit because I would never listen to it. I also sold CLC's M Wave debut album because, again, I have no regrets. It was one of the worst packagings I ever bought, so like, absolutely, I would never listen to that again. But I still have my Twice M Wave signed album. And I still have my debut G Friend signed album over there somewhere. So let's see what the comment says. Winner released a track list for their comeback. Good for them. I'm not going to buy it. Emily says, I miss the days when M-Wave albums were only a few dollars more than other online stores. I feel you, girl. That was what prompted me to quit ordering from M-Wave. Honestly, it wasn't that I quit being interested in signed albums. Like, I still am interested in signed albums. If it wasn't for M-Wave, I would never have an RM signed album. I actually have an RM signed BTS album from when BTS did their very last M-Wave signing session. Uh, but their albums got like out of control. Like it got really, really bad. And I just, these albums here, this small box with 2 albums represents almost $60 worth of expense. I can get 3 albums for that kind of price. So I mean, it's just not worth it unless it's a group that you really stand. Like somebody that, if you don't get on this M Wave now, you're never gonna get in. So like it was worth it for me to buy the AB6 album for Shallow 5. I'll probably text Shallow 5 after this live and see if she wants this 6 album. It was worth it to get me a signature for ITZY because I have a feeling that particular signature is going to increase in cost later on depending on what happens. But some of these other signatures, they just haven't been worth it for me. So Emily says, yeah, I stopped too, except for full group signed albums from high bias groups, which is not so often anymore. You Bix, Yoongi, and Hyunsuk photo cards. Thank you. I did not know. But yeah, if M-Wave's prices would get back down to like normal prices, it would be worth it. Or at the very minimum, if they're gonna charge $30 for a signed album, you should offer a bitch free shipping. Like literally, that's not too much to ask. Especially if you're not gonna get any of the pre-order goods, then what the fuck? Why? But yeah, I miss the old days of M-Wave, I miss when going to M-Wave was an opportunity to get albums from new groups for just a little bit over regular cost, but with the signatures, and then you can look back later and be like, oh, I knew them back when they were a small group. It's not like that anymore. Considering that, because I have stopped ordering from M-Wave, my signed group collection has totally stopped growing. I think I did an autographed album collection 2 years ago, and I have not done a signed album collection since because I haven't really had anything to add to it. Oh shit. You guys, I don't know if you just heard that buzzing sound. I forgot to tell Stephanie that I made it back home. Not my Stephanie, the other Stephanie. She's probably wondering what the hell happened to me. I should have told her I made it back home. I'll let her know after this live is over.
Why?
Because she's a nice person and wants to make sure I was safe and didn't get lost in the woods of Peyton.
Okay.
You'll learn that one day when you start dropping friends off. Oh, excuse me. I burped.
Ha.
I think I already answered the question that somebody asked me about whether or not I'd heard AT's new album. I did. I really like it a lot. Mason, I know it's not your cup of tea. I get you. But I really like the full album. I think the thing I like the most about the full album is that there's a couple of different callbacks to older AT stuff, and it makes it kind of all tie in together. And it also makes me believe that this is the last AT's album that's going to come with their signature packaging. So I don't know how many of you that are watching this broadcast actually collect or even pay attention to AT's, but AT's albums, they come in a box with a removable lid, whatever. But they're always like the same shape with the same basic design, but in different colors. And this album, I think, represents the end of their current cycle. So I'm interested to see if their next release is going to be in the same format as this one or if it's going to be completely different. I hope it's different just because while the boxes are small in terms of size, they're thick because they're filled with things and they take up a little bit more room on the shelf than what I'd like. I'm talking about ATEEZ, ATEEZ. Mason says, I like the album more on second listen. I'll probably end up snagging a copy of this in their last release. Janini collects ATEEZ. Musical Century says, it's my favorite so far. They're going to release a song on their anniversary 24th. And Janini says they may do a repack. I wouldn't be surprised if they do a repack only because, like, in K-pop, it is standard practice to do a repack of an album. Why is that? Like, have we talked? I'm sure we've talked about this at one point in the last 4 or 5 years. Oh my gosh, I've been on YouTube for 5 years, y'all. Ha, sad days. Anyway, in the last 4 or 5 years, I'm certain that we have talked about the fact that only albums get repacked. Why is that? Why is that? Like, why don't we repack mini albums? It seems like it would make more sense to do a repack of a mini album than a full album. Because a mini album only comes with 5 songs anyway. So if you were to add like 3 songs to a mini album, that would make it almost a full album. So why aren't we repacking mini albums instead of full albums? Have we talked about that before? So, Lixbrick says, Wassa released a new song the other day. It's really good. I think you'll like it. Yes, it's a song that she did with, fuck, what is that producer's name? I know what you're talking about. It was nice. Musical Search says, I expect a repack because the EZ is missing when you connect both albums together. Okay. And the songs on the repacks don't even be that good. There are very few times when the repack songs are worth the extra expense. I think the one time I can absolutely say the repack is worth more than the regular album is SHINee's Married to the Music. SHINee's Married to the Music added 4 new songs, and those songs are indispensable. Like, why buy View if you can buy Married to the Music? Okay, so the repack for Odd, which is the album that View was on, is an album called Married to the Music. And that album comes with Married to the Music, Chocolate, Savior, and Hold You. Those songs are some of the best songs in SHINee's discography. Savior is such a good, like, pump up the energy, get the crowd going type of song. Married to the Music is Married to the Music, which is a phenomenal song. Like, it is my favorite SHINee title track of all time, and that's going through their entire discography, everything included. But then my actual favorite SHINee song, like the song that when I listen to it, I'm like, I can listen to it on a loop for hours at a time, is the song Hold You. I don't know why Hold You means that much to me. I haven't been able to examine why that is. Because before Hold You came out, my favorite SHINee song was Alarm Clock. But Hold You, there's something about like the way that song is put together, the ad libs in the background, the harmonies. Oh, fuck. If you've never heard Hold You by SHINee and you like R&B music, listen to that song when this broadcast is over because it is such an amazing song. It is so, so good. And I just love SHINee to bits and pieces. And yeah, Married to the Music is the one repack that I would say I prefer the repack to the original for damn sure. Let's see, I missed some comments. Emily says, well, Janini said Young Forever was her favorite repack. Emily says repacks let them continue promotions in a short time period instead of having 2 minis with longer gap periods. You have a full album and a couple new songs with shorter gap in between, which is the reason why you should repack minis. Repack minis. Don't repack the full album. Repack the mini and let them do a second single on a full album. That makes more sense to me. And then Jojo World says, yeah, when 17 released 5 copies of their third album, I just hope for only 1 or 2 versions from the special edition. What's my favorite trilogy in K-pop? Whew, that is a tough question. Oh man, favorite trilogy. Okay, so my basic answer would be I really enjoy the Love Yourself trilogy. And that's not me being super biased, but like right off just looking over in that direction at where my K-pop sits, I really like the Love Yourself trilogy. I like the Love Yourself, Her, Tear, and Answer. I thought that was really nice. WTSN's trilogy is pretty good too. With Shiny, the Story of Light, it's not really a trilogy. Drinking. It's not really a trilogy. It's more of a quad because they did 3 parts and then they did the epilogue. But if you take the epilogue away, which the epilogue only has 1 extra song, so really we can kind of push it to the side. I would say that the trilogy for Story of Light is really good because each mini album is totally different, and then they finish off the trilogy with Jong Yun's voice on the very last song of part 3, which is very inviting for me as a fan. Other trilogies, Shiny has another trilogy that I really like. It's Misconceptions of You, Misconceptions of Me, and Misconceptions of Us. That is a trilogy, and that is also a really great trilogy to me because the songs on Misconceptions of You are very different from the songs on Misconceptions of Us. And then when they did the repack, which was Misconceptions of, well, You, Me, and Us. When they did the repack, which was Us, I really liked the fact that the songs that they added were so very different and very special. And I don't know, they were just perfect. So I really like that trilogy. I can't think of any other trilogies that really get me going in that way, but that's my fave. That's my fave. Yeah, I'd have to say Misconceptions of Us, the Love Yourself trilogy, and the Story of Us episodes, unless you consider them a quad. Oh, and I almost forgot. Greatest Moments in Life, that's a trilogy as well. Greatest Moments of Life 1, Greatest Moments in Life 2, and then Young Forever. That is a great trilogy as well because the songs that were added to Young Forever really make it stand apart. I mean, there are a couple of songs that were taken off of Greatest Moments in Life 1 and 2 in order to get you to want to buy those albums, which that was a very smart move. I don't know why more companies don't do that. When Big Hit was like, okay, we want them to buy the repackage, but we want people to go back and buy parts 1 and 2, even though we released a repackage. I know what we'll do. We'll take 2 songs off of the repack so that you have to buy those albums in order to get those songs. That's what you call smart thinking. But Young Forever had a lot of really great stuff. Young Forever had the song Young Forever. It also had Save Me on it, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I think it also had Fire. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I believe that those 3 were on the Young Forever album, as well as several remixes plus a full version of House of Cards. So when they did that repack, they were really thinking about like, what can we put on this repack that people really want that would make them go ahead and spend the money if they bought parts 1 and 2? And that's the trick to any repack, to be quite honest with you, which is the reason why I say I think that the mini album repack would make more sense than the full album. When you buy a mini album that's only got a few songs, you would welcome a repack that has 3 more songs because you're almost doubling the music. So it makes sense to be like, okay, I'm gonna buy the repack. When you buy the repack of a full album and it only comes with 2 fucking songs and the original album had 9 songs on it, unless those 2 songs are perfect songs, you aren't as tempted. Like, okay, for me, I didn't buy the repack for Don't Mess Up My Tempo. Love Shot, I didn't buy it because to me the song Love Shot wasn't worth buying it. And I think that's what you have to do. You have to ensure that people are going to say there's enough strong material here. There's enough of a difference for me to want to pay this money. And that's the reason why Young Forever was such a great repack, because there was remixes, there were chart-topping songs that came with music videos that made you think, okay, this is definitely worth me getting it. Also, the quality of the repack was upgraded. That's another thing that kind of is an intangible. It's not just the songs that are involved in the repack, it's also the packaging. So let's say you have the Young Forever series, where Ray's Moments in Life is kind of like a pamphlet type of book with, a, a little cut in the cover for the CD. Basically, flimsy packaging. You have flimsy packaging for part one, you have flimsy packaging for two. Part three comes in a box with a poster, like it's totally done up. Then somebody might say, okay, from a person who collects K-pop, for the packaging, this repack is worth me buying because the packaging is a step up. And that's true again about Misconceptions of Us. If you bought part 1 and part 2, those were booklets. Then they took the Misconceptions of Us and they turned it into a box set with both of the booklets plus a bonus booklet that had like tour footage and stuff like that. So it made it like, okay, well, yeah, this is actually worth buying. And I don't necessarily think that all the time that K-pop companies get that. What we as a consumer are looking for. If we're looking for more music and you're justifying a repack because we get more music, at minimum, you need to give us 3 songs. 1 song is not enough. Give us 3 songs. If you're giving us a repack and you're only going to give us 1 or 2 songs, you need to make sure that packaging is light years different and better than the original packaging you gave us. It cannot be in any way similar. Otherwise, we're not going to buy it. And those are the rules. Them's is the rules. Sorry. It just is what it is. I don't make those rules. I didn't make those rules. So, in the comments or in the live chat, tell me, what is your favorite repackaged album? We talked about trilogies, which is 1, 2, 3 parts, but repacks are just really 2 parts. What is your favorite repacked album, and what is your favorite song from a repack? So, Make Me Love You by Taeyeon is Mason's favorite repack. Cool, cool, cool. This water is delicious, by the way. 3/4 songs on the repack are my favorite on the whole album. 3 out of 4 songs on the repack. Okay, cool. That's a good justification. I'm kind of worried myself. TVXQ's Before You Go, that song. Yes, Emily. Oh my gosh, I totally agree. There's nothing wrong with TVXQ's original release for Before You Go, but the repack has Before You Go. And that song is so fucking underrated when it comes to K-pop. Like, not enough people talk about how brilliant that fucking song is. First of all, the song is like an R&B classic. It is definitely a baby-making, body-winding, slow jam type song. However, not only is that so fucking great in terms of like this, the song itself, but you also get like 3 music videos. You get a regular music video, you get the story music video, and then you get like the remix dance practicey video. I'm sorry. We can go on and on. Mason says he's tempted to say Bad Boy, but like the 2 other songs added were kind of forgettable. Red Velvet, Perfect Velvet, Time to Love. I like the repackage for Perfect Velvet with Bad Boy, only because like Bad Boy was such a standout song that it like made you think, okay, I need to buy this. But the first album was so good because Kingdom Come. So this is really hard. EXO's Power of Music. Esther, you are in a minority. Mason says, I know your favorite repack is Married. Well, yeah, I'm not asking about my opinion. I've already stated that my favorite repack is Married to the Music. Married to the Music is a fucking perfect repack. Like, fight me. Fight me. My favorite repack is Married to the Music. First of all, the video for Married to the Music is better than the video for View. So, tis what tis. Also, the repack for Married to the Music has fucking Hold You and Savior and Chocolate. And so it made an album that was borderline, not even in my top 5, my top 1. Okay, so Mason's Oh, and One on One. Tell Me What to Do. Ugh, that album's my favorite. And that's a really good repack as well. It's all ballads, but it's still very valid. Janina says she really enjoyed Shine Forever by Monsta X. TVXQ's 7th album repack is my fave. Anthony, you're gonna have to give me a title because I can't look at TVXQ based on album number. It's very difficult for me. I'm trying to think what's another repack that I super enjoyed. I liked EXO's Love Me Right as a repack. I thought Love Me Right was a really strong song. 21's You're funny, Mason. I'm trying to think what other repacks have I really enjoyed. I'm sure somebody's gonna say that I should be talking about Never Walk Alone as the repack of Wings. I'm not gonna say that because Wings to me needed that repack. Like that repack would have been a better release to me than just releasing Wings on its own. So I'm not gonna say that it's a better repack. I think it basically justified what it is. I'll tell you which repacks I think are the most useless repacks in K-pop because Tense. Oh yes, I did like the repack of Tense. I had that because Onominia bought it for me. What a sweetheart. I loved Sooty Sooty. I thought Sooty Sooty was such a great fucking song. So that repack was really nice. Also, the packaging for Sooty Sooty is really good packaging. And I think that's important when you're talking about repacks. Which is everything I say, like the repack to Wings needed to happen. The Wings album, not even talking about the songs, Wings album was 4 small booklets. Small, thin booklets. The repack for Never Walk Alone was like a hard-covered book. Yeah, they should have led with that. But yeah, I'm digressing. I'm getting into territory I don't want to be in. Useless repacks. Repack that I feel like is overrated. Basically, you don't need to do that shit. And this is unpopular opinion, folks.
Unpopular opinion.
Luna. Okay, I just got through saying how people should repack mini albums. Luna repacked several mini albums. And I think that they were useless repacks. That wasn't necessary.
Wait, how many albums have they had?
Girl, hell if I know. There's been so many fucking Luna albums. But I don't think that any of their repacks were justified when it came to Luna. I don't think it was enough. And so, yeah, I don't think that should have happened, in my opinion. But that would be my vote. I think the repacks for Odd Eye Circle helped with the international fan base, and the repack albums are like $40. Yeah, if you're rebuying any of the Luna stuff, it is so expensive. I didn't like the Luna repacks, and I'll tell you, I don't like because there's 2 kinds of Luna repacks for me. There's the Luna repack where it's a subunit, and then that gets repackaged into like an added song. But then there's the repacks where it's like a member solo, and then it gets repacked with like a member and another member together, and it's most of the songs from the member solo plus maybe a new version of a song. Like it's so stupid. It's so stupid the way that they did that. Like, listen, Blockberry, I know you tried really hard with Luna. I know you spent a lot of money and you really had high hopes for these girls and you wanted things to work out for them. But I think you spent your money in some of the wrong areas some of the time. I think that you could have consolidated some of this stuff and you could have just come out with maybe a longer project or maybe a more complete project instead of some of the repack stuff that happened. It makes it to where it's very hard to go back and look at things. BBC, where is Born? I don't know. It makes it very hard when you're going back and looking at stuff because you're like, I don't know what to get. Luna should have had 3 pre-debut albums, one for each unit, has unit songs and the original solo singles. Absolutely. Like, honestly and truly, instead of doing like a separate member album per member for their 1 or 2 songs that they did, you should have just done like, this is the subunit and it's got the subunit songs plus the individual songs for each member. Cause like, I was looking for a particular song. There was a song that I was looking for from Luna early days before they did their full group debut. And it was like a Christmassy type of song. It was like You and Me, Me and You, whatever. There were 2 mini albums that had that song on it. But one had the cover of 2 girls, and then the other had a cover of a different 2 girls. And this was at a time when there were only 4 group members that had debuted at that point. It was like the really young girl, the leader, the other girl who's kind of boring, and then the girl who went to Russia for her music video, but then like dropped out of Luna Promotions. I'm sure I'm saying this the long way around, but anyway, I was looking for a song that was like a Christmassy song, and that song appeared on 2 different album releases, and I could not figure out which album I needed to buy to get the version of the song that I wanted, and that shit shouldn't happen. That's frustrating for the public. Stephanie, are your clothes done? You have anything in the dryer?
I didn't know. Oh, no.
Okay, you should check on that. I don't think that fans or people who want to be fans should have to look that hard to find music. That's just my personal opinion.
Ooh.
So I don't think that the repacks for Luna did anything to help with those people who are interested in the music. Also, I think that the company, Blockberry, whatever, I think what they need to do that would really help out people who are trying to catch up with Luna is that they should do a repack that should be kind of like a limited edition box set that has all the songs on like 3 discs and then has selected photos from every solo project release. So hear me out. I have an album over there. You guys look behind me, look at the wall. I'm gonna go get what I'm talking about. I'll be right back. Oh my gosh. Been drinking. I'm trying not to. I can't promise anything. Oh no, don't fall, Minho. Oh my gosh, you hurt yourself. It's a toy, Mom. It's a toy. It'll be fine. He'll survive. If he survived the battle, he'll survive this. Okay, hello everybody. Okay, I'm gonna show you this thing. This is SM Station season 1, which I don't know why they never did a season 2. They should have done a season 2. But this is season 1. So this is season 1. It has 4 CDs. It has all the songs that came out in season 1. Then it comes with, I took all the CDs out, by the way. It comes with a bunch of CDs that are in here. I took them out because I don't keep my CDs in my CD packages. And then it comes with this book. This book lists all the artists that were appearing on the season. And then inside of the book, it has production credits, and then it has select photographs for every song that was released as a station song. So you have Taeyeon's song, which was the first station song, and they have a picture from that. Then you have this, which was the D.O. song that was released, and they got a photograph for that, and a little bit of behind the scenes stuff here. And then you have the next song. So what they did is they took a selected set of photographs for every single song that came out during the season, whether it had a video or not. If it didn't have a video, they would just have like the album cover just so you can remember what the fucking song was. But they did that for every song that was in the season, and you could buy this compilation set so that you would have not only every song, but you'd have like a little reminder of the visual art that went with the song. I think that something like this would be hugely beneficial for people trying to get into Luna. I think that their company should make a box set like this. If you didn't want to make it to where it was available all the time, since they don't ever want to make all of their albums available all the time, you could just do like, you could call it Luna Season 1 or Luna Just to Catch You Up, whatever you want to call it, and then put like all the songs from all the solos, put a booklet on the inside, and then put like maybe 5 photos per member for their different solos, maybe 5 photos for their subunits, and then there you go. You don't even have to put the full group album in there, just the solos, just to get you caught up with the solos. I think that would be Luna Phase 1. Fucking brilliant. Fucking brilliant. So that's what they should do. And I think that would really be good for the people who missed out on all of the solos, especially like the early solos. There are a lot of people who really missed out on like the first 4 releases for solos, and people want to catch up, but it's really hard because they didn't necessarily start out listening to those. A lot of people didn't get into Luna until Eclipse came out with Kim Lip. Then the people are like, okay, I want to know more about this Luna group. But until Eclipse came out, a lot of people didn't really know who Luna was, or they weren't really following them like that. I know personally, I was confused. I thought it was a bunch of solo artists. But yeah, I think that a compilation like this with a reliable printing house that's not going to short sight you and make it to where you have a bunch of orders you can't fulfill, shade. A reliable print house that could print you something that would just get everybody caught up would be really, really nice. That way everybody could be like, okay, I know where we are, I know who people are, can make this happen. If BBC has 15 employees, those employees must hire a bunch of subs for them, because whatever they were doing behind the scenes on these video shoots, it looked like there were like 1,000 people there practically. You know, all the hair and the makeups and the photographers and videographers and everything else. But yeah, that is my suggestion for Luna, because I think that they could definitely make more effective repacks or more effective releases if they would think strategically like that. Because what they've turned Luna into is a group that really the fans, I don't know how much companies care about this, so maybe I'm just talking to the choir here. They've made it to where the fans are cannibalizing themselves. Like when Luna releases a project, you have certain fans that buy 1,000 copies. Well, not 1,000, but they buy like 10 copies of a release because they know that it's going to go out of print. They're not going to make enough copies for everybody to be satisfied. And if they just wait like a month, they're going to be able to resell these copies at like sky high rates. So it makes it to where people aren't able to collect the way they want to. And if the company cared about the fans, they would make the copies accessible. Even if you had to do something to like delineate, this is a reprint, it's not the original. Like if you had to make the difference between a first press and a second press, you could do that. So why wouldn't they go ahead and do something kind of like this to get people caught up, and then make sure that there's enough copies so that it's not like all hoarded by individuals who are seeking to resell stuff for, $40, $50, $60. It's not fair to the people who just want the music, who just want to support. It develops a level of elitism in fandom that shouldn't be there, in my personal opinion. So Mason says, for all the talk Luna has for them, their sales really are weak. Same for CLC. Sales are weak, but I don't think that with a group like Luna, that sales are the best measure for them, in my opinion. They have a lot of fan buzz. And if BBC was working things the way that they should be working them, they would try to do whatever they could to get Luna on a tour with another group and just spend their time making money live. Like, if they were smart, that's what they would do. They would be like, fuck physical sales, even though we didn't print enough copies, whatever. I mean, obviously, they print enough copies to sell out. Fuck physical sales. Let's get out there and let's, hit the ground running and get performances. So that would be really important. But get them with another group. Like, if I was going to put together a concert for Luna, where I would put them with other groups that I think would generate interest and people would want to go and see stuff. I would try as hard as I could to get Luna on a tour card with like Rocket Punch, or like some other group, and make it to where they're going through the US, and rather than relying on album sales to generate the buzz, get people wanting to see them in person, because when you get people wanting to see them in person, people are going to go back and buy the album. Like, I don't know of any person that goes to a K-pop concert that doesn't want the album. So if they tour and then the albums or the catching up was available, then people are like, oh shit, I really enjoyed them. I want to buy their albums now. That's the way it is. Or, you can sell the albums at the tour. But, like, that's where you need to be concentrating. Album sales alone aren't it. People don't buy meme albums. Just saying. Not saying, but just saying. Anyway, guys, I'm going to have to get off the live stream because as much as I want to give their company all the instructional information I can, a girl's got to pee because she just finished a whole bottle of soju. So, I gotta go. But thank you guys so much for listening to me, talking to me. And words to end this live broadcast by, let me get real messy. And I'll end this live broadcast with some mess. So, vitriol. That's what I want to end this with. I think it is very difficult for those of us who are not fans of huge fandoms, or maybe we're fans of fandoms that are quiet. That's the better phrase. Those of us who are fans of fandoms that are quiet sometimes find ourselves mentally exhausted by loud fandoms. And it can be hard when you are exhausted because you're barraged with information. It can be hard sometimes to not lash out against this barrage of information, especially when it's unwanted, uncalled for, unrequired, whatever. I think it's important for us to find a way to get idols to understand that their lack of address, their inability to address it, in some ways, is what engenders some of the negative feelings towards their fandom. I get it that big groups can't tell their fans to stop supporting them because they need the support. I totally understand that. I get that they don't want to make their fans feel like their fans are being insulted. But I do think that these large groups with loud fandoms wouldn't be remiss in saying there's a fan code of conduct that we would like you all to adhere to. And the fact that that doesn't happen, it makes me wonder if they enjoy some of the less than pleasant moments. I'm not saying that that means that the group deserves any hate. I'm not ever saying that. But I'm just saying, like, when you don't open your mouth, are you then complicit and condoning due to your silence? Because it's easy for somebody to say, well, I didn't say anything, so that doesn't mean I'm supporting it. I just didn't say anything. But if somebody was in the street and they were crying for help and you don't say anything, if they bleed out, Are you complicit? Most people say yes, you are, because you didn't say anything. Your inaction led to this tragedy to happen because you could have stepped in somewhere. And I don't know, I just feel like for those of us that have quiet fandoms that kind of mind their business and don't really get out there that much, we would appreciate if some of the loud fandoms that have a lot of people who can be kind of exhausting, if their actual groups would step in and say, hey, you know, here's a code of conduct for us. Like, let's keep it at that. And you can assume that I'm talking about whatever fandom you want to. I know there's a lot of you who are going to assume that I'm talking about armies. That's your assumption. I could be talking about XOLs. I could be talking about, Blinks. I could be talking about Onces. There are a lot of big fandoms out there that have loud fans that say loud, wrong shit. It would be nice if their groups would come out and say, quit saying loud, wrong shit. Quit embarrassing us. Because a lot of these people know each other behind the scenes. A lot of these companies work with each other. And when these fans are loud and wrong, we, as fans, miss out on a lot of opportunities. There are a lot of collaborations that just ain't fucking gonna ever happen because these fandoms are loud and wrong. So it would be nice if they would come out their mouths to say, hey y'all, I've noticed that y'all are loud and wrong. If you're gonna be wrong, shut the fuck up. If you're gonna be loud, don't embarrass us. That's all I want. That's all I want. That's all I want. So I want to leave that there. Like, you know, a lot of hate that comes out there is because you don't have anybody telling them, we don't like this behavior. You have other fans stepping in saying, hey, could you shut up because you're embarrassing me? But then these loud and wrong individuals broadcast their loud and wrong opinions, and they find other loud and wrong people to back them up so they're able to continue to be loud and wrong with a bunch of other loud voices cheering them on. When it would be nice if the artists themselves who have the loudest voice would say, shut the fuck up. You don't even have to be mean about it. I get that it's awkward, but you don't even have to be mean about it. You could just release a song that addresses that. You know, one of the things I love the most about BTS releasing Pied Piper is that the song was like, don't make us your everything. Like, keep doing your schoolwork, kids. I thought that was really cool because it was a nice, peppy, fun song, but at the same time, the message was, you know, you live your life. We're just a small part of it. Don't let us be your everything because you don't really know us like that. But yeah, it would be nice if these artists, not just BTS, XOLs, because they can be loud and wrong too. Onces, because they can be loud and wrong too. Blinks, because they can be loud and wrong too. VIPs, because they can be loud and wrong too. There's a lot of loud and wrong fandoms out there. But it would be nice if these artists would come out and be like, hey y'all, you're really making an ass out of things. That's not what we like to see. We like to see our fans act this way, this way, this way, and this way. That way we can be proud of you and we can talk about you and we can show you off to everybody because our fandom is the best. You know? But anyway, that's me giving my, 2 cents about that. Thank you for watching. I really appreciated this time. I cannot wait to see the downvotes because I always look forward to them. I like your upvotes more, of course, but your downvotes, I look forward to them. None of y'all have balls enough to leave a comment, so, that's all I can really count on when it comes to the haters. But thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you all later. Bye!